Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. It's late. It's after 10 o'clock.
Look, we had one really early, and now we're doing one really late.
We'll be more on point with the later one because we roll better at night. I'm Gigi, Fruit Loop. Are you good?
My legs are killing me.
Yeah, you did a bunch of steps today at the theater.
Yeah, we're getting ready for that. One of our productions we're doing, and had to move some lights and stuff. So, yeah.
And as soon as you got here, I was trying to show the guys that women can do things around the house. So I was installing one of those keyless entries.
Oh yeah,
the touchpad or whatever. And after taking it apart 3 times, we got it.
Was it only 3?
It might have been 4. We got it.
Yeah,
so
it works.
You thought you were going to come here and chill and do a little sweet tea. And I was like, Fruit Loop, can you help? So I'm not, sitting here with egg on my face.
There you go.
All right. So we're going to jump right into this Josh Duggar deal. So he was arrested yesterday by, I think, U.S. Marshals. And he was put on a federal hold with no bond. So when they said federal hold, I kind of thought, given his history, maybe this has to do with crimes against children.
Yeah. My initial thought was that, or I knew he was in trouble financially with something.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe that's what it was because it was federal.
Right. Because back in 2019, there was a raid at the car dealership that he owned. So I thought maybe it has something, to do with shady business.
Yeah.
And so I was refreshing my Twitter every 30 seconds this morning, and at the hearing, they didn't say what the charges were. His lawyer declined to have the charges read, but then right after that hearing, I guess the FBI or whatever released a statement saying that he's been charged with 1 charge of receiving and 1 charge of possessing child sexual abuse material, which is kind of the way people are wanting to term it these days. They don't want to say the child other word. So we're trying to follow that guideline.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't think it's a shock to many people, though, because we're going to get into this backstory real quick. But if he's convicted of these 2 charges alone, what's he facing?
He's facing a possible sentence of 40 years,
mm-hmm.
And a fine of $500,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So they didn't set a bond today. He will have a court hearing. I believe it's May the 5th next week, and that will determine if he's given bond. Now, if he is granted bond, he has to live with a third party, and he cannot be with any minor children, including his own, which they have 6 kids, and they just announced a week ago today that she's pregnant with number 7, and it's a girl.
Wow.
I just don't understand it. Now, from what we've heard from people who are local and in the know, that she went with him to turn himself in. And as of right now, again, she's going to stand by her man.
That's what she did last time.
Oh, okay. So we're going to get into this backstory, which kind of, to me, I think it set me up for thinking I knew the charges before they were read. I never liked this family, and I'm not trying to be rude. I always thought it was very weird situation. So I'm not sure what religion they are, but I know that they believe in the quiver movement, which means that you have as many kids as essentially you can. They feel like every pregnancy is meant to be, and so they don't practice birth control at all.
Gotcha.
So Jim Bob and Michelle, which are the parents, they have 19 kids, and they're part of that TLC show, 19 Kids and Counting.
Gotcha.
So back in 2015, In Touch Weekly filed a Freedom of Information Act because they had gotten wind about some accusations against Josh that he had molested 5 underage girls when he was 14 and 15, and 4 of those were his sisters in the home.
Wow.
So this was taking place in the early 2000s. Jim Bob, which is Josh's dad, he learned of these accusations in 2002. And the accusations were that he had fondled his sisters while they were asleep. And according to Jim Bob, Josh confessed to him. And he also said that the girls were unaware of the abuse because they were sleeping. I don't know how much I believe that, because at the time, this show was kind of like a rocket ship. Everybody was sort of watching it at the time. And I'm sure he wanted to sweep this under the rug. It would have ruined their sweet little deal with TLC.
Well, I remember when it came out, it was a huge deal.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The first time it happened, Jim Bob says that they took care of the punishment at home. Okay. You have to go to the authorities. I'm sorry, even if that's your son, because that is a clue he is not well.
Yes.
He is a predator. At 14, 15, he is aware of what he's doing.
Yeah.
So they swept it under the rug. Now, it happened again the next year, and there were 5 victims, and the new one being a babysitter. Do you guys hear Sherlock in the background? He is at this door yelling to get in.
He's wanting to be on the podcast.
Sorry. So the second time around, after he did all this again and then with somebody new, Jim Bob went to the church elders to figure out how to address this again. Not going to a psychiatrist, not calling Child Protective Services, and not going to the police. I'm sorry. If that were my kid, we would be at the police station because your son has predatory behavior. It's never going to end well when they're repeatedly doing this stuff. It is a red flag of the biggest red flags.
Yeah, he needs help.
So what did they do? They sent him away for 3 months to work with a friend of the family who was remodeling a house. Now, there were rumors that he was sent to a place called the Institute for Basic Life Principles, which is a faith-based place to rehab from this stuff, I guess. But it's speculated that he did not attend because Jim Bob said that the place he went to was for hard labor, like manual labor and counseling. So what some people theorize is he didn't actually attend this place. He helped to rebuild it, literally rebuild it. So when the program was over, Josh came back to Arkansas, and Jim Bob took him to meet a family friend, James Hutchins, who was a state trooper. So this was the first time. This is 2 years later. And after 2 times of them trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, that the authorities anybody who was an authority was even told what was happening.
Wow.
16 months later. Think about all the time that he had to continue this behavior. 16 months.
Yeah. And how many kids was he around?
Well, they had
I mean, you look what? I think is it 22 now or something?
No, Jim Bob and Michelle had 19 together. I think they had some issues with the later pregnancies because she was older. I mean, I think she was maybe 40 or right above 40, so she started having complications. And the doctor told them that she needed to not have any more. I think the thing is this. I understand when you're a religious family that you pray. And a lot of people pray. There are some things you cannot pray away. There are times where you have to reach out to get your child help and also to hold them accountable. You can't just treat this as if something that you could only pray about.
Yeah, there needs to be some counseling and stuff added in with that.
Now, here's the kicker with this. This trooper, Hutchinson, he said that he gave Josh a very stern talking to. All right. And there was no report made about this at all. Even though Hutchinson is a mandatory reporter, being a trooper, he didn't report it to the Arkansas Child Abuse Hotline when he was told about it, and he was supposed to. Later on, he said through his lawyer that he was only told of this occurring with one victim, and if he would have reported it, if he knew there were multiple victims. But here is the kicker. 4 years after he talked to Josh, Trooper Hutchinson was arrested. This was in 2007 on child sex material charges, the same charge Josh has right now. The details of the communications that he had with underage children are too graphic, and I would never repeat them. Gross stuff. His handle on Yahoo, this is the trooper, was Dad's Lovey 2002. And authorities found pictures of a friend's daughter and a young relative on his camera, and he served 5 years in prison for this. But after he got out, he was rearrested in 2010 for the same crimes, and he is in prison for 56 years right now.
Wow.
So how did that work out?
Yeah.
At what point? I mean, to me, I think the parents could have stopped this a very long time ago.
Well, things like that, you need counseling and you need help. It's not something you can cure on your own.
Right. And
there's triggers and different things, and there's a reason why on Halloween people who are registered sex offenders have to turn their lights off and not allow kids near their home.
Right. And I think the thing that scares me is that he has children of his own.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that these two charges are going to be it. I think this was enough to get him in custody. He's on a federal hold. I feel like when they fully examine all of his devices, we're going to find it's tons of charges. I don't see the feds getting involved for these two charges. It's got to be bigger.
Yeah. Here's my issue, and Sarah that was here, she is in a ministry that helps victims coming out of human sex trafficking, which is basically what he's doing fuels that revenue and that industry.
Right.
And we know when she was here, like, I forget the total thing, but human sex trafficking makes more money than like Nike, Adidas, like all those things combined.
That is scary.
And it is scary. And this is the reason why they make so much money is people like this who are paying to watch it and purchase it. This is why those kids are trafficked.
Right. It's a money-making machine.
She made the statement to me one time that we were talking about stuff like this, and she said, I would hope if someone who's thinking about looking at pornography, that you're the reason that this is happening, and would you want your child to go through the same thing as you're watching?
Yeah.
And I think that's huge.
It is huge. How this came even to be public is the family was going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and someone anonymously reached out to the studios and told them about the abuse. And so in return, the studio alerted Springdale, Arkansas police. They investigated it, but the family said they had forgiven Josh and the behavior had stopped. So the problem is in Arkansas, the law states that charges should be filed within 3 years of reporting the crimes. So because Hutchinson did not report it as he should have, the statute of limitations had run out and the chart for any charges to be filed. And on the police report, a minor victim said she wanted anything having to do with the investigation destroyed, and the judge, Stacy Zimmerman, allowed that. I don't know how a minor can tell a judge to get rid of somebody who was a predator towards them, just make it go away. I have a feeling that this family just wanted it all gone.
Sure.
They were projecting this Christian, perfect family. I don't know, families are perfect, even your best Christian families, there's no perfect there. But this is a level of, you've got a predator and you've got victims, and you have multiple potential victims in the house in the form of all the daughters they have.
Yeah.
So once the story went public in 2015, Josh resigned from his position at the Family Research Council, which is a very conservative family value organization. Again, it's just goes to show you the double life.
Yeah. I mean, nobody is exempt or above this stuff. And it doesn't matter who you are. Like, it's working its way into a lot of people's lives. I mean, just like how big the industry is. So it's crazy.
So two of the sisters, Jill and Jessa, went public and said they were two of the victims, and they really kind of took up for Josh. I think that's just the nature of their beliefs, is the men are always right. You're submissive to men. You're put on earth to have babies. You never disagree with a man, that kind of thing. It's very bothersome to me. Jessa said the media had went overboard and he was not a molester, as some people were saying. So that same year in 2015, Josh got busted because, if you remember, there was this big data breach on the Ashley Madison website, which is a website where married men find women to have affairs with.
Yep.
And so he had 2 profiles on there. And ultimately, once his name was out there, he made this statement where he said he was addicted to porn, and he admitted to having an affair on his wife. He called himself the biggest hypocrite ever. But he had paid over almost $1,000 in membership fees on that website. And then he checked himself into a rehab facility, which obviously didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
So later that year in 2015, towards the end, he was accused by an adult film star named Danica Dillon of assaulting her to the point to causing her physical and emotional injuries. She said they did have consensual sex at a strip club in Philadelphia, but he was very rough with her and she asked him to stop. And apparently she filed a lawsuit against him for $500,000, but she eventually dismissed it. And a lot of people on Twitter were telling her, oh, you were lying. And she said, well, just because it was dismissed didn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah. Some people don't want to be drugged through all that.
Well, this is a reality show Famous Family.
Sure.
He'd also paid her $600 for lap dances. So that's kind of all we know right now. I just think that he was enabled to an extent, I think, with his parents trying to go this alternate route to rehabilitate him. And I mean, I don't blame the parents for what he's done now, but they could have intervened so long ago in the early 2000s, and maybe we wouldn't be here. We don't know if he hasn't physically hurt a kid.
Yeah.
We just don't know yet.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's very weird. I can't imagine standing by a man who was accused of this. This isn't the first time he's been accused. He's admitted to being perverted.
Yeah.
And to being an abuser. But you have to consider he was 15 when he started this.
Yeah.
He's not 8 or 7 or just curious. Maybe he saw something on TV. He's a mid-teenager.
Yeah.
Ugh. Gross.
With kids.
With a 7th child on the way.
With kids, and I'm sure nieces and nephews.
Oh my gosh, all the Duggars are popping them out. It's like popcorn. It's like pop, 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 pop. There's 19 of them. They're all, getting married. It seems like every other week now there's a wedding.
Yep.
Now, some of the kids are really cool. I mean, they seem very cool. I've seen stuff. There's a couple of them that have really separated themselves from the family and doing their own thing and wearing pants and drinking alcohol and that kind of thing. I guess statistically, you're going to have a few rebels out of 19.
Yeah.
But we're going to follow this one close because I've always gotten the creepy vibes from him, even before the scandal way back when broke.
Well, did you see his mugshot?
Oh, he just looks smug.
He's grinning almost.
Well, if you think about it, mommy and daddy got him out of the first set of, I don't even want to say accusations, the first time he did this and the second time he did it. I mean, I don't know. I know at this point they're living in a warehouse on his parents' property.
Yeah, I mean,
they're facilitating. I'm sorry. I just say, if you do nothing when your kid's a teenager and he's doing this predatory behavior, then, I mean, I blame them. I blame him.
Yeah, and I totally get it, because some people, say, well, he's an adult, he makes his own decisions. And I mean, I agree with that.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
an adult,
same.
he's not in their home, all that. But I think leading up to it, if he would have got help, like true help, that things may have turned out different.
Right. I mean, if I walk in and find my kid using hard drugs and I just say, hey, don't do that again, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to take away your Xbox for a week. I can't blame myself when he's in his 30s and he's a hardcore drug user.
Yeah.
Addiction is addiction. And it's not only an addiction, it's just, I have this big mindset that people who molest children, I don't think they can be cured. I'm sorry. I try to have faith in people, but I've seen interviews with people who have molested kids and they'll tell you, you're not going to change my mind.
Yeah.
It is such a foreign thing to even think about, but man, like you say, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It scares me to death. I've, a 9-year-old.
Yep.
These kids were all under the age of 12.
Yeah, that's scary.
In the age range of his own children.
I hope and pray that he.
Yeah, I know. I mean, your mind naturally goes there because they live under the same roof.
Yeah.
And I mean, if his wife stands by him every time she's had to stand by him, it's been because of his sex drive.
Yeah.
In the wrong way. I mean, so.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's insane. Insane. But we will keep an eye on this. And
his hearing is
the 5th.
Okay. July?
No, May.
May. Okay.
Yeah, May 5th. And the judge will decide if bond is set then. But today they just held him over until this next hearing.
Does make if he does bond out or make bail, whatever, he can't be around kids, right?
No, not even his own.
Wow.
He can't be under any minor. So, as it should be.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious. I don't think this is the end of the charges for him. It's not like guys like him or women like him. I mean, it goes both ways. It's not like they look once. I'm sorry. If you're looking at that kind of stuff, you've done it before. I know you have to start somewhere or sometime, but this was in 2019 when they raided that car dealership. I'm very curious as to why he's only getting arrested 2 years later. But that's beside the point. That's why I think there's more charges coming. Yeah,
and I think to point out, this was a sting operation. That was, what was it called?
Project Safe Childhood. So
yeah,
they're just, I mean, it's all over.
It's like one of those, what's that thing? Is it on Dateline or something where the guy goes in and sets it up?
Have a seat.
Yeah, and they go in and they're like, oh
yeah,
To Catch a Predator.
Yeah. I watched a few of those. It's just, those men creep me out. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I just,
and man. I have heard of some, men that do get help and do come out of that, which is a good thing. I think it's very rare, but I have heard of some guys that get help and come out of that. But yeah, that show is good though.
Yeah.
They'll come in there and be like, "Oh, I'm at the wrong house." No, you ain't.
Yeah, no, you're not. They had the worst excuses.
You ain't.
The few times I did watch, it was always very pleasant to see their faces once they realized they were busted.
Oh yeah.
Just
some of them run.
Yeah.
Like some of them take off.
I think it's just a scary world, and I mean, for me, having 2 daughters, I have to have conversations with them at ages much younger than I had those conversations from my mom. It's a constant fear of mine because the access to this stuff is just, I mean, it's so easy.
Oh, yeah. Where we are, our area, like we've had issues at our mall here and stuff, and you can be in Charlotte, Atlanta, like one road, and you're there, and it's easy access. Mm-hmm. So it is scary.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I mean, I know somebody who their child was recently messed with in a bathroom, and there are charges and the person is in custody, but it's a struggle. I mean, she's just having a hard time, understandably.
Yeah.
I would catch charge. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I go to the pokey if somebody ever touched my kids. I would be coming out of the bushes to attack when they brought them in the courtroom. I'm sorry. sick people.
It's just each case we do is just
poor kids.
It's the kids.
These children. It's almost. I mean,
like when do they get looked out after?
I know. We just have to be very vigilant, and not only to our children. If we're around other kids, I always keep an eye on other kids, even if I'm in the mall. I do. It's just.
I do it when I'm traveling too.
Same. I do too.
Like I'm on a flight. I'm looking I was on a flight with a really creepy guy one time. It was just horrible.
Oh, I've been on plenty of flights with
I ain't gonna
creepy
lie. I
guys.
thought the mother was gonna pull the hatch to open up the door. The steward, you remember that?
Yes.
Coming from California.
Yeah.
The stewardess, he told me, or flight attendant. Sorry, they're not stewardess anymore. The flight attendant was like, I said, this guy over here's giving me the creeps. He's like, I know, I saw him. And I said, okay. And he said, I'm watching him. And I said, yeah. He said, but I'm about to get up and have to go do my stuff. You going to have to watch him. And I said, sir, if he tries to do something, I will kick him in the neck. He said, ma'am, you do whatever you got to do.
That's so funny.
He was really weird.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all for this. We'll be on probably Sunday. We both have a super busy weekend, and we'll see what we can come up with. I think there's some Letitia news that I want to cover Sunday. About the divorce hearing. I think Al was in court today. Letitia refused to come, if I read that correctly. So we'll discuss that and some other things. But
dude, she just don't like being told what to do.
She is just having one of those times where she's folding her arms and going,
She acting like
I'm
a 2-year-old.
not going to the
temper.
law library. I'm not going to go divorce my husband.
Yeah, I can choose. She better get used to people telling her what to do.
Exactly.
You're going to be told when to eat, when to sleep.
Literally where to walk.
Yeah.
If you're out of the red line, you're out of bounds, and that's right. That's a write-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. So you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy it. We're going to have some gorgeous weather here.
Yeah.
I think, right?
I don't even know.
I think,
I've been in that theater all week.
It's going to be very nice. Nice to be outdoors. So you guys stay safe, and we will see you on Sunday.
Good night.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.